Thank you very much. The next speaker is Mark. He's going to do some story time about our product vision.
So yeah, I wanted to talk to you all about GitLab's product vision. Really at this point, I think hopefully most of you know what our vision is. I mean, Michael and Sid just talked about it, right? We're really close to delivering the complete DevOps lifecycle, all in a single application. And Josh, there he is. He's actually working on a demo of where we got so far, up to and including GitLab 11.2. Josh, you want to come up here and give a demo? Just kidding, no, he doesn't have a demo ready. But he's going to record it, and then you guys can all watch that later. And I'm sure we'll get a blog post out there giving everybody a progress update on where we're at. But what I thought would be a little bit more interesting would be talk a little bit of the backstory. How do we get to this product vision? So with that, it's story time. When I first heard of GitLab, I was working at a developer tools company, and we had just delivered an integration with GitHub, and one of our customers had asked to do a GitLab integration as well. I was like, GitLab, what's that? So I took a look and looked at the project, and no offense, Dimitri, but it was an ugly knockoff open source GitHub. It just was like, why would I bother doing this? So I ignored it and forgot about it. A couple years later, I was working at a different developer tools company, and one of the product managers that worked for me was really excited about this competitor, GitLab. And he'd say things like, GitLab's got CI now, and their entire roadmap is open and public. Well, that's kind of crazy. So I, kind of ignored him though, because like, why would you care about this, small little knockoff? And at most, it's a, third-rate competitor. We're not going to do anything like that. It wasn't worth it. Just kind of ignored it. But a couple of months of him just raving about GitLab, and he was excited. He was irrationally excited about GitLab. And so I finally relented, and I took another look. And it was immediately apparent things had changed. And like, it wasn't just an ugly knockoff of GitHub anymore. I mean, first off, it wasn't even ugly. It looked really nice now. And it actually had more functionality than GitHub. I mean, not just that it had CI, but like the actual version control was better. Lots of functionality. GitHub didn't ship for years after that. So I thought this was really interesting. How did this happen? So I dug in a little bit, and I was like, oh, you joined Y Combinator. There's actually a company now behind this. And they've got investors, and they're really digging in. They're still a small team, but really, really knocking it out of the park. They were just crushing it. And then I started to dig in a little bit more. And then I came across the handbook. And this is actually a screenshot from the values page. And just to show that it looks actually different than our values today. Just like everything at GitLab, we iterate on that, but that's what our values were a couple years ago. So I took a look at that, and like everything, was much, much smaller, but even, our mission, our values, our roadmap, everything was just public and open source. And this came to me at a time when I was kind of getting frustrated with other startups that weren't writing down their values, assuming they even knew what their values were. And here, GitLab had open sourced it, along with everything else about their handbook. And the last thing is I found out that they were remote first. And even though I worked in the Bay Area, I really hated commuting to San Francisco. I actually didn't want to be locked into San Francisco anyway. And so all this stuff really, really intrigued me. And so I reached out to Job, and then started chatting with Sid. And I realized not only was this company doing really well, but there was also like a ton of ambition behind it. And so I started to open up about all the things that I wanted to do in the developer space. And we were shockingly surprised how much Sid and I were on the same page about what we wanted to do. And all these things that at other companies, I wanted to do all this stuff and just ran into a wall. Well, at GitLab, there was no wall. We had already started to move from version control into CI, and we're well poised to go from CI into CD. And so this just really, really got me exciting. And spoiler alert, I joined the company. And actually, when I joined the company, Sid, to his credit, told me to kind of take it easy. Really just get to know the team, absorb the culture, just kind of soak it in. But I was so excited that within 2 weeks, I had written up a complete vision for CI/CD at GitLab. And it had everything I had ever dreamed of as a developer, anything that I had ever thought of in this space. But for the first time, I was seeing that maybe, just maybe, this company could actually pull it off. And so we implemented environments and deployments and pipelines and slowly worked through the vision, picking off these major chunks of the developer workflow. Well, actually, that's a lie. I say slowly, but we were shipping major chunks of this at a furious pace. Really iterating quicker than I had ever imagined. I was actually really, really proud of the team for what they were able to deliver. Kicking out these major iterations so quickly. And I actually came from companies where I was really proud of how fast we iterated. But things that would take company maybe almost up to a year just to sort of plan things out and slot them into a release and then etc. All these things take time, and we were just shipping things in months. It was really, truly amazing. And then about a year ago, we had covered so much of the CI/CD workflow that we started running into a wall. See, as a developer, I had always thought that it was really important to cover this entire scope from idea to production. And then maybe when you got to production, you do a little monitoring to make sure you didn't break anything when you shipped it. But truly, operations, that was on the other side of a wall. We were making developer tools. This was a developer company. Operations, that's clearly a separate thing. Or is it? Maybe this isn't a wall. Maybe, there's nothing there. Maybe it's imaginary. And I felt just like, Neo in the Matrix swallowing the red pill and eyes open, and I see that there's no wall. And with that, GitLab was moving into DevOps. So within a month or two, Sid and I and others had crafted a vision for 2018, where GitLab goes beyond dev into DevOps. But not just any DevOps, the complete DevOps lifecycle, where we ship something for every major part of software development and operations, all within a single application. Because, did I mention GitLab's ambitious? Now, to cover something this big, we knew we were going really into breadth over depth territory. As a user experience-centric, PM, this is really uncomfortable. We're shipping a lot of these minimum viable changes, or MVCs, and they really kind of amount to like a foundation or scaffolding, but pretty bare bones. But by getting the entire vision out there, everybody can understand, internally and externally, people can see where we're going. And then the community can help flesh it out. And now customers are even hiring people to help flesh this out. And so together, we can iterate to a lovable product. Not just a minimum viable product anymore, but a lovable product. As a side note, Sid at one point told me, don't worry, we'll ship the breadth of DevOps in 2018, and then next year we can worry about the depth. And I kind of quickly responded, yeah, right, next year we'll do DevSecOps, and then we'll have even more scope. Well, it turns out I was wrong, because it didn't take a whole year. 2 months later, Sid's like, security's really important, and we started to talk about DevSec and BizOps. I don't even think it was 2018 yet, and we had already started doing that. So anyway, back to the story. The thing is, the vision is working. Prospects love it. When we talk to customers, their eyes light up. People really want this. They love the vision. Sometimes they're skeptical, but they want it. They want it to exist. And this product, the entire scope of the software development lifecycle, it's what I've always wanted as a developer. I didn't want to have to make it myself, but I wanted it to exist. But no other company could do this. Now, it's not like they didn't have the time or money or people to do it, but they didn't have the drive, ambition, determination, whatever. They all put up imaginary walls. At GitLab, there is no wall. Of course we can do this. And not only can we do this, we have an obligation to do this. This product needs to exist. Many people could have done it, but we were the only ones that could accept that low level of shame with shipping small iterations so quickly. And we're the only ones that have the guts to do it. There is no wall. We tore down the wall between version control and CI. We're tearing down the wall between dev and ops. And if you think there's some magic wall around DevOps, think again. There is no wall. I mean, what's next? Designers, product managers, executives? Yeah, they're all fair game. Because remember, our mission is everyone can contribute. And we're building on the strengths of an ever-expanding software development lifecycle, but there are no limits. There is no wall. And the funny thing is, about imaginary walls, when you're on the other side, and you look back and you realize, like, what was I afraid of? There is no wall.